So we bought Obamacare, some of us willingly, some of us at the point of a gun. Promise was, do your altruistic benefit for the state. 30 million Americans who can't afford coverage need it, and we're going to ask all of you to kick in. It's not going to cost us a penny. Won't add a penny to the federal deficit. It won't add any money to our national debt. It's got to be the worst sales pitch in history. But for whatever reason, America bought it. Now we find out the truth. It's going to cost us $3 trillion. $3 trillion. And the truth of the matter is, that's only a best estimate. The numbers are probably far greater than that. And it was originally couched as, there's 30 million Americans who need coverage here. How dare we allow them to be exposed? How dare we risk them going bankrupt because they can't afford health care? You have a moral obligation. And now we find out that with the implementation, somewhere close to 50 to 100 million are going to lose their health care. Really? Why didn't we kind of hear that before? Because it's not about health care. It's all about data. It's all about control. It's all about enemies lists, and it's all about your domination. I mean, as I recall, the original intent of the entire Obamacare debacle was supposed to cover 30 million Americans. So how exactly does this work for America? Well, it doesn't. It's not a health care program. It's a data mining concept. The cost for you to opt out is $95. I would look at that like the cost of an annual antivirus subscription. Because that's what this is. I put up a video about Ben Swan today, which makes perfect sense. I'm going to play it for you. His argument is there's a brand new lawsuit out there. It's been brought by an Iraqi war veteran, and it's against the HHS, Health and Human Services. And they're claiming that the Affordable Care Act is unconstitutional because of how the bill originated. Well, that is the truth. I want you to hear it from his mouth because it makes sense. And because the way he expresses it is fairly clean. I want you to know that what we're talking about here is a wholesale rout of whatever vestiges of privacy existed in the United States of America. Couple that with what the NSA knows. Couple that with what the FBI knows. Couple that with what DHS knows and is capturing about you every day when they are sitting there scanning license plates and driver and facial recognition systems at motor vehicles. Listen, guys. What you don't know is that they know more about you than you know about yourself. You can't remember where you were 2 weeks ago on a Wednesday. But they do. Here's Ben Swan.
Hey there guys, Ben Swan here. So a very interesting story is unfolding as 40 House Republicans have now thrown their support behind a lawsuit that is challenging the constitutionality of the Affordable Care Act. Now wait, before you say, oh, not another one of these, this story is actually pretty interesting. It's something we've been talking about since June of 2012. In this case, the 40 House Republicans have filed a friend of the court brief saying that they support the idea that the Affordable Care Act is unconstitutional because of how the bill originated. Here's how it works. During 2010, Democratic lawmakers in the Obama administration kept claiming that Obamacare was not a tax and that the health care law was enforceable under the Commerce Clause. You remember that. But when the government's lawyers went before the U.S. Supreme Court in the early part of 2012, they flipped positions and began claiming that the ACA was a tax increase after all. Now, that argument was what saved the law. Chief Justice John Roberts stated that the shared responsibility payment under the ACA is a tax, not a penalty. Under the Constitution, the Supreme Court ruled that Congress has the power to tax Americans and went on to state that the payment is not limited to willful violations and that the payment is collected solely by the IRS through normal means of taxation. So it's a tax. But as I told you before, with that ruling, the Supreme Court may have unknowingly made the health care law unconstitutional.
Here's where the rub comes. I want you to pay attention right now.
Go to Article 1, Section 7 of the U.S. Constitution. It states that all bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives, but that the Senate may propose or concur with amendments in other bills. Now, what many Americans probably don't remember is that the House of Representatives, back when this whole bill was being debated, barely passed a version of the health care law. The Senate passed a version of their own, but the House version hit a roadblock in the Senate. And that allowed Democrats in the Senate, because remember, at the time, it wasn't a tax bill, to pull the Senate version from reconciliation. They deemed it passed rather than risk another vote in the House. And that's how we got the Affordable Care Act. That means that if the Affordable Care Act is actually a tax, it was not lawfully passed. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out our other Truth in Media videos right here at the bottom of the screen.
All right. See, what you don't realize is that the Obamacare bill started in the House. And it started in the House as a bill to provide, and had nothing to do with health care. It started out as a bill that would provide for our soldiers not to be foreclosed on while they were overseas. And the House passed it, and they sent it to the Senate. And the Senate got it, and they took the shell of the original House bill, and they stripped everything out of it. Then they inserted Obamacare, and because they knew that they couldn't get it through the House again, they deemed it passed. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the height of trickery. The House never got to vote on it a second time. They deemed it passed in the Senate because they knew that they could never get it through the House. And even to get it through the Senate, they had to bribe their own senators on the Democratic side, and not one single Republican voted for it. The truth of the matter is, your government, especially this Democratic side, and I'm not giving the Republicans a pass here, but in this case, the Democrats have acted in open, blatant treason to misrepresent, to mislead, to bait and switch America. If you do not hold them accountable in 2014, if you do not demand that they be replaced, if you are not willing to sit here and make sure that you have a Senate that can, of patriots, and I don't want to talk about standard Republicans, forget them. If they're entrenched establishment Republicans, kick them out. I don't care whether you put in a Libertarian or a Tea Party or a candidate out of the Constitution Party. If you want to put a Republican hat on them and insert them in there, that's fine. But get rid of these Republicans as well. And give us a Constitution, or a constitutional Senate and a constitutional House that can begin to undo the damage here. Because if we don't turn this around in 2014, This Obamacare bait-and-switch program, combined with the NSA, the FBI, the DHS, your local police departments, the militarization of systems, the treason that's being perpetrated on Americans every single day by all of this data collection and massive facial recognition systems, all of this nonsense, the EPA demanding that they have authority over every piece of water in the nation. Look, you don't smell it. I don't know what I don't know. Your nose must be clogged up. But if you don't stop it in 2014, I can tell you this, that there will be only two methods to take this nation back after 2014. One is either by a massive peaceful uprising where Americans literally go camp out and demand everybody in Congress, everybody in the House, everybody in the Senate, everybody in the administration is all out. And we're going to reinsert a new pre-qualified, pre-vetted constitutional organization. Or we're going to resort to the principles of mutually assured destruction at some point when it comes down to utilizing the Second Amendment to try to restore this country after it's already fallen to tyranny. The truth of the matter is, the word treason, I want you to go look it up. I want you to find out what is a high crime and a misdemeanor. I want you to go find out what does the word malfeasance in office mean. Virtually every member of Congress, virtually every member of this administration, every leader of every unconstitutional, extra-constitutional administrative agency is guilty. Every justice, every lawyer, everybody in the system, they're all guilty. And now they're using the data that they're gathering about you, the massive data collection program known as Obamacare. They're coupling that with the unauthorized, illegal, unethical, immoral, unconstitutional capturing of all of your data, which is exactly what I've been talking about, the entire theme of this show, to utilize that as a weight against you. And you can say this is far-reaching. You can say that this is paranoid delusion. You can say this is tinfoil hat territory. But when bodies start disappearing off the streets, and mark my words, they will, when you give people this kind of power, they will use it. You know what the problem is with politics? It's the same problem that you got when you try to quit smoking crack. You can't quit smoking crack when you live in a crack house. And politicians can't give up power when they're in position. And all it does is lead to a deeper and deeper and deeper addiction, with always tragic results. There is no self-help program for politics. You've been listening to America's Voice Now. My name is Michael Evans. If you'd like to comment or provide some kind of feedback on any of these stories, you're welcome to email me directly. You can email me at mike@americasvoicenow.org. That's mike@americasvoicenow.org. If you're watching this on YouTube, since Google owns YouTube and they have changed the comment section, I can't even reply to your comments. It automatically forces them into a Google Plus account I don't even want. Write Google a letter, by the way, and tell them knock that off. Put the comments back in YouTube so that people can read them. I mean, you can read them if you're not logged in, but I can't. As soon as I log in, the comments disappear. I can't even respond. They disappear into Google Plus land somewhere. I can't find them. I can only read your comments on YouTube when I am logged out. Then I can see them. Go figure. Company with the most intensive data capabilities in the world, the ability to write software that does amazing things, and they can't allow me to see the comments in both sections. I can't even reply. You people are sending me comments all the time. What do you think about this? Tell me about that. I can't even reply. So if you want to communicate with me, the best way to do that is send me a direct email to mike@americasvoicenow.org. I can't reply on YouTube. You can find us at americasvoicenow.org on the web directly. We post all kinds of stories up there. I put a lot of stuff up on both on our Facebook page and on our direct website. Some stuff Facebook pulls. I'll post stories up on Facebook, and literally I'll go back to go look at that story an hour and a half later to pull it up so I can talk about it on the radio, and it's gone. It's censorship. So make sure that you visit both America's Voice Now and the Facebook page. If you have a Facebook account, like it, because it helps us to share. And for whatever reason, for as long as Facebook lasts, and as long as free speech is still running in this country, and I don't suspect it's going to be a whole lot longer, let's utilize that medium to get our message out. So when you like that, when you hit that like button, it expands that so that the stuff that I post up there shows up on your feed, and your friends and your circle of influence reads that. And slowly but surely, we're turning people around, one at a time. Maybe we'll run out of time, maybe we won't. But we ought to try. That's why I'm here every day. If you have a Facebook account, hit the like button. Trust me, they already know who you are, what you do, what you read, what you see, what interests you. Don't think, oh, I'm getting on another list. You're already on a list. Worrying about that now is a little like shutting the barn door after the horses have escaped. The truth of the matter is, the best thing that we can do is take this government back by massive, peaceful, civil, disobedient means so that we can destroy all that they're holding about us. And repeal the law that gives them the impression that they have the authority to violate your constitutional rights, your God-given rights, your natural law rights. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for listening to us today. You can participate with the show by going to America's Voice Now. From time to time, I'd love to hear from you via email, good, bad, or otherwise. Send me your comments. I can reply to you then. Mike@americasvoicenow.org. All right, y'all have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Remember that the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is when good men do nothing.